The 2024 NFL schedule is set to be released on Wednesday, May 15th, but as of right now, we already know every team's opponents for the upcoming season. You can see the 2024 opponents for the Buffalo Bills on the screen right now, and as you can see, they'll have one of the most difficult schedules in the league after winning the AFC East for the fourth straight season last year, which means they're going to face off against some of the other top teams in the National Football League, and that's the reward that comes with winning your division. Welcome back to the Bills Bunker. We got some nice weather. I got my bucket hat on, and it's almost holiday season because the NFL schedule is almost released. It's become a national holiday pretty much, right? The National Football League schedule release has become a massive event, and we're all excited about it. I'm sure there's some of you out there watching this video that are anticipating the schedule release and looking forward to marking your calendars and planning some trips to go to some games. I'm one of those people as well. I'm looking forward to the schedule release so we can finally plan some dates out, get it all figured out, and really, it's going to be really exciting to see who the Bills are playing at what day. We already know who they're playing, but we want to see when it actually happens. We're going to talk about the top games for the Buffalo Bills ahead of the schedule release in this video. But before we do that, I'd like to take a moment to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more content coming your way because it's going to be a massive week next week. I'm going to take you on a tour of Highmark Stadium, and then the Micah Hyde charity softball game is also happening next Sunday. I'll be there. And beyond that, we've got a full season of reaction videos next year. So stay tuned for all that. Click subscribe if you haven't yet. Give this video a thumbs up. Here we go. Starting off at number 5, I have a home game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which probably isn't the most popular pick. However, my reasoning for this is because Gabe Davis and Mitch Morse will both be returning to Buffalo after signing with the Jags in free agency. And on top of this, the Bills suffered defeat at the hands of Jacksonville last year in what was supposed to be a Buffalo Bills home game, but it was actually far from that. If you remember back to week 5 of last season, Buffalo arrived overseas in London, England, just a few days before kickoff, while the Jags were already settled in and they played a game the week prior. The Jags ended up defeating the Buffalo Bills, who really didn't show up until the second half. So let's see what these two teams do on a more even playing field in Buffalo, with Bills Mafia in attendance. It's also worth noting that the Jags are a team that has done well against the Bills historically. They've beaten Buffalo in 3 of their last 4 meetings. Plus, it's the Josh Allen Bowl, where Josh Allen will face off against Josh Allen to see who is the better Josh Allen. So that's always exciting. At number 4 is a game that will take place at Ford Field between the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. This game will be interesting for sure. It's a battle of two teams that have both been rising over the past few years after some bad, really poor, forgettable decades of football before the 2020s. You already know that Bills Mafia will have a strong presence in Detroit, and Lions fans, they're no joke either. These are two passionate fan bases. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a wild environment in Detroit in a game with two strong teams and two passionate fan bases. The most recent game played between the Bills and Lions was in 2022 when Buffalo defeated Detroit on Thanksgiving with a game-winning field goal in the dying seconds of the game by Tyler Bass. It was also the second win at Ford Field for Buffalo in a span of 5 days after they weren't able to play in Buffalo due to a mega snowstorm. This game between Detroit and Buffalo, two passionate fan bases, this is one that I'm expecting to be at least be in consideration for being a primetime matchup. It's going to be a good game. And number 3 is a matchup against the San Francisco 49ers that will take place in Orchard Park, New York, at Highmark Stadium. And obviously we all know that the 49ers just made a Super Bowl appearance and they're the defending NFC champions. Anytime a team of that caliber rolls into town, it's a game that people want to see. People are going to look out for that game. They're going to circle their calendars. They're going to want to get their tickets to that game. And that's not even mentioning the history of the San Francisco 49ers as a legacy team that's seen players such as Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Jerry Rice, among many others, suit up in their iconic uniforms. San Fran doesn't play in Buffalo too often. For reference, the last time the Niners played in Buffalo was all the way back in 2016 when Colin Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem. That feels like it was forever ago. It really was. It was close to a decade ago. So it's going to be fun to see the Niner Nation in Buffalo, but Bills Mafia, we're going to be louder than them. It's going to be a good game. Buffalo, a solid team going up against the defending NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. It's a good game. At number 2 is another home game against the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that has become public enemy number 1 in Buffalo. We all know the storylines here. Buffalo hasn't been able to get by Kansas City in the playoffs, falling victim to Chiefs Kingdom in 3 of the last 4 postseasons. We've seen Buffalo defeat Kansas City in the regular season for 3 straight years. They just haven't been able to get by them when it matters most. And anytime you have 2 of the top talents in the sport going head-to-head in a clash, it's noteworthy. Allen vs. Mahomes has become a spectacle of its own because every time these two match up, fireworks happen. And I'm ready for another installment. This will definitely be a great game, and it's one that I really would expect to be in a primetime or a standalone spot where there is no other game going on. This is one that everybody wants to see, and if the NFL is trying to boost up that revenue, boost up that viewership, that's how you do it. Make this a standalone game. And while it's really hard to top a Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs game, the storyline for Buffalo's road game in Houston is just too good to pass up as number 1. We'll see the Buffalo Bills take on the Houston Texans at NRG Stadium, and these teams are both expected to be 2 of the top contenders in the AFC, with quarterback Josh Allen and emerging sophomore quarterback CJ Stroud. But that's not what makes this game interesting. Well, I mean, it makes it interesting, but it's not the only thing that makes this game interesting. We all know the reasoning for this being one of the most anticipated games of the entire NFL season. And that is because the Buffalo Bills are going to go up against their former star wide receiver Stephon Diggs, who was traded this offseason in April in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Need I remind you of the drama that has taken place between the Bills and Diggs over the past few seasons? We've seen Diggs yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline in a game in the playoffs. We've seen Stephon Diggs smashing his tablet overseas in London. We've seen Stephon Diggs with so many cryptic X-posts. It has all reached a boiling point. Now Diggs is on the Houston Texans, and these two teams are set to meet up and go head-to-head. This game is obviously going to be a great matchup because it's 2 strong teams, but it's seemingly the finale of a soap opera drama, and we all want to see how this plays out. This is a game that I'm so excited to see. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills going up against their old star wide receiver. They got the new one, Keon Coleman. What's he going to do there? That's going to be a massive game. So many great talented players in that game on both sides of the ball, but Stephon Diggs against the Bills, that's something that everybody wants to see. And that's must-watch television right there. That's a game that I'm hoping to go to, and if I do, there's going to be a great reaction video right here on this channel. So make sure you stay tuned for that content and all the stuff leading up to it throughout the entirety of the season. Going to be going to a bunch of these home games and hoping to travel down to Houston for that game as well, but we'll see. Stay tuned. Click subscribe if you haven't yet, and in the comment section down below, I want to know, what games are you looking forward to most for the Buffalo Bills this season? Obviously, I'm looking forward to every game. I'm just looking forward to having football back. Even if it's a preseason football, I'm excited for that too. but there's some games that hold a little more value and a little more meaning than other ones. And I want to know, what one are you most excited for on the Bills' schedule? Here's all their opponents, as you can see on the screen again right now. But let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't yet, click subscribe. I'm Jake Varco. This is the Bills Bunker. Go Bills.